All right, it's the 25th of April. It's a Friday. We've got just under 30 minutes to the NY Open. Let's go to the charts. Yeah, I think we're all good. Yeah. All right. Last day of the week, and this is also considered the last week of the month, even though we have a few trading days, I think, next month. I mean, next week. But next week is NFP week. Okay, so no news today. There is nothing, no news today. So it should be a regular trading day. Let's quickly take a look at. Let's try to. This is what we do at the end of every week. We try to predict how the candle will close, how the weekly candle will close. Right? We can't predict how exactly the daily candle might close, but we can predict how the weekly candle might close. Right? And then based on that prediction, we're going to try to look for a low time frame trade. Okay? We're going to attempt that today. We do that at the end of every week. So we'll try that today as well. Okay, so we are bearish for sure, right? We're pushing down. Now the question is, are we going to close below 3286, or are we going to close above it? That's the only question, right? Those are the only two questions. Is it going to close below 3286, or is it going to close above 3286? If it's going to close above 3286, the daily candle will need to continue to push up, maybe pull back, create some sort of support low time frame and continue to push up. Okay, that is a possible scenario. But the more likely scenario is that because of the bearish volume that we close below 3286. For that to happen, the daily candle will continue to go bearish, probably begin to close below 3,300, maybe pull back a bit, then start to close below 3,300 and continue to head down, right? And then we will have a weekly close below 3286, right? So that's the only two scenarios. Are we going to close above 3286, or are we going to close below 3286? So either way, I would prefer sells. Now there can be buys, because if you're going to close above 3286, there might be a possibility where you'll have 30-minute support form and to take buys up. But since the weekly candle is going to close bearish, should close bearish, we're predicting that it would close bearish. And for that to happen, the daily also would need to close bearish for both scenarios that I mentioned. I would prefer sells, right? I would prefer sells because of that. The daily has to close bearish for either one of those two weekly scenarios to play out. The question is it going to close above 30286 or below? Above, yes, we can take a push up. There might be buys going up, but I would prefer the sells. Okay, let's go to our trading chart. Now, let's do a quick recap. I don't want to spend too much time because we're already past, we're a little, late on time here. We did take sells from here. These are TP levels. Price did come to 3308. That's where I think I took off. I had a small position left for 3,300, but when the 15-minute rejected this, when we rejected the Asian low, then I closed the trade somewhere here, right? What happened? So for any trader, if you are wondering what happened, why price is moving down, why did it come to 3,300 as predicted, or even further down to the liquidity candle? Why didn't it get there, right? On this way down, why did it go back up? Very simple answer, right? Not enough liquidity. And when there is not enough liquidity, what will price do? It will go back to the area of liquidity. So the closest area of liquidity is the liquidity candle. Price went back up there, grabbed liquidity from the liquidity candle and the SR level 3367, and then came to 3,300 and to the liquidity candle, right? So price can come as many times it needs to this area, right? And we have even 3,350 here. So we have three liquidity levels, liquidity candle, 3,350, and then 3,367, the weekly SR level. So price can come to a liquidity candle as many times as it needs, right? But it didn't break the high. As you can see, that's a liquidity candle high. It didn't break the high, and then it pushed down, a huge push down. Again, 800 plus pips push down in the Asian session today, all the way down. Let's get rid of all of this and start our analysis. Now, the EMAs have crossed. Make note of that. The EMAs have crossed, and price is well below the EMAs, right? Unlike yesterday, where we were ranging, we're not ranging anymore at the EMAs. So keep that in mind. We're pushing down. We're below the EMAs. We're pushing down. And we've already spoken about the high time frame scenario. The weekly candle, is it going to close above 3286 or below, right? Okay, that's good. I think this is good enough. Yeah. All right. So let's start here. We have a source of supply, a reaction and new supply, a reaction again and new supply, right? So now let's start with this. That's a rally, two basin candles, and a drop. And this one, we're going to push that up so we don't overlap the zone. And let's get rid of this liquidity candle. Price has come deep into it, 280 pips, 390 pip candle. Yeah, let's delete it for now. We can redraw it always. Now this is no longer a high liquidity zone because price has come deep into it. We saw that even yesterday. So now we have a new 4-hour supply zone here. This too is what's left of that 4-hour supply zone. That covers about 900 pips to the upside. That's good enough. Okay, let's put the numbers here. 075, 1 second. Yeah, 075 677. Okay, and now we have a demand zone here. We're going to extend that to the right. Price hasn't come into it. There is no new demand on the 4-hour. There is no demand here. Price is inside demand. There is no new demand. That is the demand zone that we had drawn yesterday. It's a 4-hour demand zone, but we brought it up to a 1-hour base, right? We refined that area. We're going to extend the liquidity candle as well. Keep in mind what we keep repeating in the streams, what I keep repeating in the streams. When you have liquidity levels, one above the other, stacked, one, that's a liquidity candle, stacked on top of another liquidity candle, right? If price is very likely to go through both of them, okay? Because they've been tapped on the way up. I've spoken about this many times on the streams. Okay, that covers 500 pips. That's not enough. We're ranging at about 1,100 pips per day, so the average daily range. So we've got to cover at least 1,000 pips to the downside and the upside as well. It's 800, maybe one more. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, that's about 950 pips. That's good enough. All right. Okay. Just bring these labels across. That's still a high liquidity zone because price hasn't crossed the 50% mark yet. This one it has, that's why it's no longer a high liquidity zone. That's what's left of that demand for 1 hour or 4 hour demand zone. There's a 1 hour, sorry, 1 hour demand zone there. This was a rally, 2 basin candles and a rally, and that little bit is what's left of it. Price hasn't gone through it yet, so we still have to keep it, right? Let's bring this here. Okay, all right. Okay, let's take a look at this area and this area and this area because price has crossed a BRN, a weekly SR level here, and price has crossed a BRN here, right? Or a psychological round number. So we have to take a look at these areas. 3367. So yeah, okay, good enough. Okay, let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, there is a zone here. Let's start with that. Let's take a look at that on the 30-minute as well. Yeah, that's 30-minute. That would be the zone. Yeah. Just bring it down here. Maybe here. This is better. Yeah, to that candle right there. This is the big push out, push down. That's the leg out. Leg in, 3 basin candles, leg out. This high is 777. Close is 916. Okay. And this is 1 hour supply. Okay. It's visible on the 1 hour. Let's take a look at this area. There is also 1 hour supply right here. Price has a rally, 2 basin candles and a drop. We've gone through the BRN. So we need to mark, whenever price crosses a weekly SR level or a psychological round number, you have to go down to the lower time frame to take a look at that area. Let's take a look at it on the 30-minute. Yeah, this is yeah, it's the base. 158,454. Okay, that's H1 supply. Okay. It's for demand. Okay, done. Perfect. Now, these are the zones, right? Now let's take a look at these areas. We have three new supply zones. We have a new 4-hour supply zone here, two 1-hour supply zones, and the demand zones are previous demand zones, right? So let's take a look at these new supply zones that we have, see if they're high liquidity zones. Let's start with the one at the top. This one has pushed down, has taken out, there's demand here, there's a rally, base rally, and a rally, base rally. That's all been taken out by this single candle moving down. So that's a high liquidity zone. This one is no longer high liquidity zone. We spoke about it because price has crossed the 50% mark. This one, has this taken out anything to the left? Yes, it has. There is a drop and a rally here. There is a 30-minute base there. If you look on the 30-minute time frame, there'll be a base there. That's it. And price is taken out. So this too is a high liquidity zone, right? And then we look at the last one. Has that taken out anything? No, it hasn't. So there is a rally base drop here, but this low hasn't been taken out. Even if you look on the 30-minute, there is a drop base rally. That's the demand zone. We haven't taken out this low yet. So that's not a high liquidity zone, right? That's it. Those are the zones. You can take a screenshot of that. Okay. Now, let's take a look at these three zones and see if there is a liquidity candle in them that can push price down if price gets back up there, right? Let's look at the first zone. Even though it's not a high liquidity zone, I want to look at that because we've got a BRN right there, right? Or a psychological round number right there. So on the 1-hour, I don't see the largest candle is this, but this is outside the zone. Go to the 30-minute. Still, there's nothing there. These candles are all outside the zone. Let's go to the 15-minute. And still, there is nothing. Maybe, yeah, this is outside the zone. So that's probably inside the zone. Yeah, this is 120, 128. Let's look at the 5-minute. Yeah, I would consider this the push down, 276 pips. Yeah, yeah, that's the clean push down. That's a clean push down. This one here. Prices tapped it in the London session. Nice, nice. That's the candle. 925681. 56. There's a supply zone here. Let's take a look at that. That's the largest candle on the 30-minute. Let's mark that for now. Let's go to the 15-minute. There's nothing there. It's a 108 pip candle. 81 pips, yeah. Yeah, would be this one, but price has already tapped it. But we'll mark it anyway. So this high is 925, 777. Okay. And then very quickly, the one above, the largest 1-hour candle would be Oh, this is outside the zone. It's 200 plus pips. Start with that. It's a fairly large zone. 330, 40 pips. 65. 210 pip move down. Yeah, I would keep it here. Yeah, it's 16241. That should be good. We might have two liquidity candles here. We just might have two liquidity candles. Let's look at the 5-minute. Yeah, we might have two liquidity candles. There's one here for sure. It's 142 pips. Yeah, might have another one there. Yeah, this would be the one. If I were to draw one liquidity candle in this zone, I would draw this one. Look how perfect it aligns with the previous one that we had, the 400, I think 380, 390 pip liquidity candle. Perfectly aligns there with that one. There's nothing random in the charts. That's what we've always got to keep in mind. So I'd keep this as a liquid 855436. Yeah, because that's the largest 5-minute candle. This is 98, and this is one just over 140, just over 140. Yeah, I would keep that as the liquidity candle, and that's right in the middle of 3350 runs right in the middle of it. That's perfect. Okay, done. That's it. Now, let's quickly take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. Let's just zoom out for a bit. Okay, that's what it looks like. Let's go to the 30-minute. All right, that's what it looks like on the 30-minute. Let me just save this. Okay. Yeah, let's go to the 50-minute time frame. We still have a few minutes. Let's go to the 15. This is the market open. The market open is the liquidity candle. Perfect. Even better. 174. Yeah, I'll bring it down here. 119. Yeah, right. So the market opened here. Open price was 51.21. 51. roughly 3351, right? 3351 is the open price. Price pushed up. Yeah, we're coming down today. We're pushing down. This is the Asian high. Yeah, that's better. That's the Asian high. Because that's the swing high that took out price closed below the BRN, closed back above. Ranged, this was the high, swing high that finally closed a candle, closed back, ranged, and then continued to push down, right? So this was the high. Okay. Yeah, this would have to be the low. Yeah, we're pushing down for sure. Hmm. Okay. 302. You can take this side or this side, doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Yeah, I would let's go with this side. Let's go with that high. Doesn't matter. They're both swing highs. They're very close to each other, and either that high took out this or that high took out this. Doesn't matter. 816. This is the low. 293. This is the NY open. This is the London high. 454. And this is the London low. 659. Bring it to this low. 771. Okay, perfect. Right. Let's take a quick look at in more detail what price has done. So yesterday, price did drop and we were bullish. Second half of NY session, we were bullish. Price was going up to grab liquidity again to come down. And we spoke about that at the beginning of the stream, right? In the first 5 minutes, I spoke about why it went up to come down because it needed liquidity, came back to the liquidity candle, came back to 3350, the liquidity candle, and 3367, and then pushed down. So we were bullish. So on the way up, we created a liquidity candle. That's the market open. We created a liquidity candle. We pushed up, tapped 3367, grabbed liquidity, came down, tapped 3350. So we created the Asian high there. We ranged, and then we created the Asian low inside that liquidity candle, pushed up back to 3350. We grabbed liquidity. You can see that that's a very clear signal. That's a pin bar. Price tapped 3350. Closed below, continued down, went past 3329. There was a lot of volume and continued straight down. It's a 670 pip drop from 3350 once this candle formed, right? We created the London low, pushed back up, closed above 3,300. We created support here. We created 30-minute support here. Closed above 3,300. Back to this liquidity candle. On the way down, it created two liquidity candles, one here. Came back up here, grabbed liquidity. This is in the London session. We've grabbed liquidity from the liquidity candle in the London session. Created 30-minute resistance right there. Pushed back up, bounced at this area, 3,300, right? Went back up, grabbed liquidity again in the London session, came down, right? Now, we have grabbed liquidity twice in the London session from the liquidity candle. Does not need to come back. It can, but it doesn't need to. Just see if 30-minute resistance. Yeah, 30-minute resistance has formed inside of pre-NY. Can take sells to come down. Let's take a look at this demand again very quickly. Yeah, we can come down. That's a 120 pip drop. We can come down. 120, 130 pip drop. We can come down. We can continue to push down. Either we look for sells up here if price comes up, or sells at 3,300 to come down, not just above it because of 3,300, right? Got to keep that in mind. We can't take sells just above it because we've got 3,300 in the way. So either it's from here to come down, that's a 100 pip move down, or from 3,300 to come back to the London low, which is about a 120, 125 pip down, push down. So just save this. So 30-minute resistance has formed. Wait for the 50-minute candle to close. We've got about 9 minutes for the 15-minute candle to close. 30-minute resistance has formed, right? Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, this candle has broken this high. 929. This high is 967. This one has broken this high. So no top wick. No top wick. I'd like to see price come a little higher, create structure, and then take a sell. Okay, let's wait for the candle to close. Yeah, I'd like to see price come up. Let's wait for the candle to close. It's not going to do anything right now. We're going to wait for the candle to close. But with sells, right? We're not looking to buy here. We're looking for sells. And I've explained why. Liquidity candle has been tapped once in the London session and then twice in the London session. First here, right? And then again here. And we've formed 30-minute resistance inside of pre-NY. Okay? So we are looking for sells. We're not looking for buys. We're looking for sells. Looking for sells. And price is below the EMA. We're looking for sells. But I want to see price come up a bit. Okay. Hmm. On the 1 hour, we're ranging, moving sideways. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 candles. We're moving sideways. And that's the issue. 3,300 is causing a problem. We're closing above, stayed above. Then again, we pushed down, we closed above. We closed below, stayed below. This is what's wrong with the IC markets today. Keep losing server connection. Okay. Yeah, 4 minutes more for the candle to close. No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Price to push up 45, 1345. Yeah, we could come up. If we go down from here, then so be it. Let it be. I'm not going to chase price because it's too close to 3286. I'm not too concerned that there is demand here because price is coming to the London low. Yeah, we should come to 3286. I would I would I would say 3286 is the London low, right? 3286. So we need to come to 3286. But it's it's moving. So I'm comfortable taking a trade at around 3,300. That's about 130 pip drop. That's okay. But not when price is already 1/3 of the way down. Yeah, let's wait for the candle to close. Okay. On especially on Mondays and Fridays, uh, and especially when it's the last week of the month, be very selective with your trades. Very selective, right? Don't just jump in at every setup you see that you think might work. Price is bearish, so let me just sell. Don't do that. Be very selective, especially on Fridays, especially on Fridays, and especially if it's the last week of the month. So just like today, right? This is the last week of the month. Consider the last week of the month. It's a Friday. Be very selective with your trades. You might get a better trade after NYSE open than you might get a better setup after NYSE open. After price does whatever it needs to do at this area, because right now we're bouncing between these two, right? That's about a 125 pip zone. Let's take it from the body of the candles. Yeah, it's about 100 pip, not even 125, about a 105, 105 pip range. Price is bouncing. It traded above the range, then came back to the range, tried to trade above, came back to the range, trade above the range, came back to the range, right? And we're again inside the range, 105 pip range. Okay, so just maybe this will clear up. This area will clear up around NYSE open. The price will push up and give us a setup to either take sells to come down or push down and then pull back up. Something will happen. Don't rush to take a trade here. The 15-minute candle is rejecting 3,300. We're closing bearish. 15-minute candle is closing, possibly closing bearish. Yeah. This is how you draw the fib. Yeah, I'm not going to take a sell here. This is just not worth it. 60 pips, 50, 60 pips, not worth it. 026284. Just give me a second. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. If we come up here, I might take a sell. But I'm going to manage risk on that very tightly, just at 3,300. Yeah, that's how I'm going to manage risk. If we come up here or here, I'll take a sell. Because that would be a push down 105 pips. That's okay. placing a pending order there. Yeah. Placed a pending order there. Yeah, I'll manage risk. It's like 18 pips. That's it. I'm not going to. If you come deeper, then I'm going to quickly close this trade at around 3,300 or 3,000 about 3,300.2, and then wait for price to come higher if it comes higher. Um, let's see if you can get here. I'll take one here as well. 55, 96.55. Yeah. Hmm. It would be better if price comes back up here. Really, it would be better if price comes back up, breaks this high, creates 15-minute resistance and a tradable 15-minute back candle, closes below 3,300. Then you can take sells on 3,300 all the way down here. That's 150, possibly a 150 pip drop. That's much better. This is it's not the best. But we're looking for sells. We're not looking for buys, we're looking for sells, and I've explained why. If you have any questions on anything that we've discussed so far, just feel free to drop a message in the chat and I'll do my best to reply. We should be coming down. We should break this low. What's this low? 8883, 8659. We've already broken the low. Previous daily low has been broken. 28883. Yeah, we've broken the previous daily low. We should continue down. I just want a bit of a pullback before coming down. That's all I'm waiting for, just a pullback. The the prep work we've done, the analysis we've done tells us we're coming down. We just want to pull back to get better RR. That's the reason. You can take a trade here if you're good at managing risk at right there. This open is 3299. If you're good at managing risk, yes, you can take a trade. All right, 3299. Let's look left. Look at 3299. Look how important 3299 is. Tapped, pushed up, stayed below 3299, stayed below. We don't need to go any further back. Stayed below, tap 3299, stayed below, it's close to below, closed above, tap 3299, stayed below, tapped, right? Okay, so so we are triggered, got to manage risk at 3299, right? You can close partial positions. So yeah, if you close above, 15-minute candle closes above. If it breaks the high, you can close maybe 25% or 30%, and then if the 15-minute candle closes above, you close everything. 3299. Yeah, I'm closing one of my positions. I'm closing the other one. I closed both. I don't like it. We're pushing up. We're coming probably to this high here. Yeah, closed everything. Coming up. Just wait. See the push up? Now we can get rid of this. 15-minute candle is pushing up. We're coming to this high. No top wick. This is better. This is better. It's definitely better. Yeah, we manage risk. Yeah, 25 pips and 30 pips. That's fine. It's a small loss. We've come almost there. Now let's see if you reject. Yeah, we're pushing down now. Let's wait for the 15-minute candle to close. We're closing bullish. Just wait. Gotta wait. Should push back up. Once this candle closes, the next candle should wick up. That's when you can take sells. Wait for the candle to close. Wait for this 15-minute candle to close. And if the candle closes bearish, the next one should wick up. That's when you take the sells to come down. Okay? I hope that's clear. Wait for the candle to close. Needs to close a bear candle. The next one will wick up. That's when you take the trade. This one, wait for this candle to break this low. Right? It should break the low, close a 15-minute bear candle, and the next one should wick up. Still have about 10 minutes for the candle to close. Still trying to push back up. No top wick. Maybe push back up, create top wick, then come down. It's possible. Yeah, now we created a top wick. Maybe more. Come back higher, create a. See, we've come here. Come to that area that there is no top wick. Hasn't broken the high, but we've come there. That's sometimes good enough. Doesn't need to break the high always. It just comes close. That's good enough. But here also there is no top wick. Maybe we come up, create a, a bigger top wick, and then probably push down. We have to wait. This is why it's important to wait for the candle to close. Form 30-minute support here. Because we formed 30-minute support, that's why you want a 15-minute back candle to close now, right? That's the reason you want a 15-minute back candle to close, because we formed 30-minute support here. It's still under 3,300 or under 3,299, but you still want, let's put that level back on, 3,299. Still under that. Thirty-minute is still staying under that, but you want a 15-minute back candle to close in your direction to take sells. Hmm. Still 7 minutes for the candle to close. Let's wait. It's coming down now. We need a 15-minute back candle to close, right? Once you have this there, this candle has almost equal, has more wick at top, right? Definitely more wick at the top and less wick at the bottom. Because for a bull candle, what you want to see is a bigger push up. You want more wick at the bottom and less wick at the top. But this is opposite. This is a weak bull candle. It's a weak bull candle in a bearish market, right? Where price has tapped the liquidity candle twice in the London session. So, but still, it's 30-minute support and it's a bull candle. So just wait for 15-minute resistance to form and then pull back, take the trade. If you did take trades at 3,300 at this area and you're holding, that's fine. That's absolutely fine, because the condition is if you break the high, you close something. If we close above, you close everything, right? That's the condition always. If you break the high, you close partials, can be 40%, 50%, whatever percentage you want. But if it closes above the SR level, or the area that we're going to manage risk at, then you close everything. So the 50-minute candle did not close above everything. So if you're holding something from above, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Just hold it, keep your stop above 3303, just above 3303, and same rules apply. If we close above 3299, you close everything. Got 5 minutes more for the candle to close. We should be coming to 3287. That's a safe area. 3287. 3287. If we close bearish, if we're pushing down. 3276. And then 3257. Those are the areas. 3276, 3267, 3257, and then finally 3250 or 3244, whichever, doesn't matter. But that's where price should be coming to. 3276. Yeah. 3287, 76, 67, 57. Yeah, those are the areas. Okay, 50-minute candle is just about to close. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's closing bearish, should close bearish. Yeah. I'd like to see a better close. Maybe, no, it's not convincing. But you can take sells, wait for the pullback, take sells, manage risk 3299. Keep in mind that's where you need to manage risk. You can take sells, but you need to manage risk at 3299. If it breaks the high, you close partials. If it closes above, the 50-minute candles closes above, you close everything. Okay? Breaks the high, close par. If you take a sell here, breaks the high, close partials. 15-minute candle closes above, you close everything. Yeah, dojis on 5 minutes. Doji, just no volume yet. Yeah, this is better. 3277.76. Yeah, that's better. 3277 is better. If you have taken sells, if you've taken sells now, if you're taking sells now, or if you have taken sells here, or you've, yeah, any, after this candle closed, if you took sells, basically, after this candle closed, keep in mind 3299, okay? I keep repeating this over and over again because you got to manage risk. That's your stop loss, 3303.2, but don't let that stop loss hit. Don't let the full stop loss hit. If it breaks the high, close partials. If it closes above, 50-minute candle closes above it, close everything. It could push up. It could push up. That is why you got to manage risk. I'm holding some trades from above here, from just above 300 when we spiked up. I'm holding some trades from up there, but I'm going to manage risk, 3299. Wherever you take your trade, you got to have a logical place based off price action where you can manage risk. And we spoke about 3299 in detail, why it's 3299 and not any other random number anywhere else, right? Why 3299? We spoke about this. We looked left, we found 3299 to be a significant, the important area on the 50-minute chart, right? Look at that 3299. Look how important it is, right? That is why we have it there. A candle close above, this setup is invalid. Price is going deeper. So we break the high, you close something, you close partials, and then if it closes above, you close everything. We're still ranging here. We're just creating, we're doing nothing. We're just going down, we're coming back up, nothing. It looks like we're pushing up. That's a 5-minute bull candle. It looks like we're pushing up. Yeah, there's volume in that candle. It's a clean candle, 41 pip. Yeah, we could, if we break the high, we're coming up. If you break this high, you can manage risk at this high now. If price breaks this high, that means they're coming up back here, right? So if you're taking a sell here, then there is no need to hold drawdown at here or here, right? You can get out, you can take some partial positions off here because that's a strong bull candle for price to push up. We still don't have a clear indication or clear confirmation that price is pushing down. We still don't have that, right? We formed 30-minute support here, 15-minute back candle has closed. This is not enough. This is a weak bearish candle. A lot of wick at the bottom and a little wick at the top. Look at that, price is trying to push up. You break the high, you can manage risk here, 835. Now you've got a level, another 7 pips below, right? So for example, let's say you've taken a position size of 1 mini lot, right? 0.1 lot. If you break the high, close, let's say, 2 micro lots or 3 micro lots. If you break this high, close another 3 micro lots. If the candle, 50-minute candle closes above it, close everything. So you save a lot, right, before your stop loss gets hit. So always think of how you can manage risk in a trade, how you can keep your losses small. That's the way to stay on top in this business, to be consistently profitable. Don't have that attitude of like I've got my stop loss and it's either the stop loss or my TP. That I don't know how much that works for traders. I honestly don't. I've I've never done that. I've always managed risk. Yeah, we're not moving today. It's very slow. We're getting close to the, yeah, we've got about 35 minutes to the NYSE open. It's not moving. I'm moving sideways. Look at the 1 hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7 hours. This candle is going to close in 4 minutes. 7 hours will be moving in this range, just pushing up and down. Still nothing. There are no buys for sure. No buys here, but no confirmations for no clear confirmations for sells. We have an idea. We have an idea for sell. We have a setup for sell, but we don't have the confirmation for sell. We have weak confirmation. I wouldn't say that we don't have confirmation. We have weak confirmation for sells. Got to wait for this. Maybe wait for this candle to close. This will be the close of the 30-minute candle. Okay, now we've broken the 5-minute low. Interesting. We've broken that low. So if you did take sells, hold your sells. This is where you manage risk, right? 3299, right? 3299, maybe 3298, 3298, 3299, right? That's where you manage risk. Now we've broken the low. We could, the next 3 minutes, there's 3 minutes for the 15-minute candle and the 30-minute candle to close. In the next 3 minutes, if price pushes down and breaks this low, perfect, perfect, then we're coming down. But it has to do that in 3 minutes. Price has to come down, break this low right here, 3291.19. That is the 15-minute low. This candle, that candle that reached up to grab liquidity to push down, right? As a 30-minute support. If you break that low, we're good. Then we're coming down. So if you've taken sells, if you took sells up here, fine, just hold it. You know where to manage risk. I've taken sells here, I'm holding. I closed some of them, I'm holding some. Just above 3,300. One minute more. This candle, can it break this low? Is the question. Can we break this low in this minute, 1 minute, or are we going to push back up? 16 pips. I don't think so. Doesn't look like it has the volume to break. It's got 30 seconds for the candle to close. 30-minute for the 1 hour candle, 30-minute candle, and 15-minute candle to close. The 1 hour candle is because you're going to close a doji, or we're going to close strong bearish. Maybe a doji again. Yeah, likely a doji. Yeah, we're not breaking the low. But we have created a top wick, big top wick, a liquidity grab. Are we going to break the low now? Yeah, we did. Now we broke the low. Now we should be coming down. We should come down. If you're holding sells, I've given the TP levels. 3287, 3277, and 3267 and 3257 if there is volume. Okay. First should tap 3288 and then 3287. Yeah, tap 3288, 3287, should tap 3287. There we go, 3287 tap, that's your first TP. 3287 is tapped. Next 3277. You can bring your stops to break even now. I'm bringing my stops to break even, or you can bring it above this candle high, this 30-minute candle high. Coming to 3277. There we go, 3277 tapped. 3277 tapped. Next is 3267. Stop. Yeah. You can bring your stop loss above the 30-minute high, this candle high. The 15 or this 15-minute high. This 15-minute high. This candle high. This high is 3298.35. So just above 3298.35. That's where you bring your stop and let it run to those TP levels. Let's take a closer look at the yeah, 3267 is the next area. Yeah. That's a liquidity candle. That's this liquidity candle from here. Yeah, it's on the 15-minute, I think. Yeah, this one right here. Yeah. This high is 3266.9, but 3267. Yeah, that's the next one. 3267. It's 130 pips. So we've tapped 3287. That was, let's see, if you got out, if you got in here, once this candle closed, if you got in, then even if you didn't wait for the pullback and you got in, that's a 84 pip move there, and down there, that's a 183 pip move. So that's good. But if you got in higher, somewhere there, then that's a 111 and then 210. I got in here just above 3,300, so 135 and 236, and I'm waiting for lower down here. It's 336. Let's see if you get there, if you have volume to go there today. So look at the daily. Sorry, yeah, let's go the daily. Yeah, we need to close below 3286 to continue. So a 30-minute candle. Now, if you're wondering why 30-minute and why not a 15-minute candle close, usually sometimes 50 minutes, no. The reason 30-minute is because that's a weekly SR level. It's an important area, and that's also, it's not just a weekly SR level, that's the Asian low. 3286 or 3287, right? Roughly that area is the Asian low. So you want a 30-minute candle to close below it. Why 30-minute? That's one reason. Second reason is, look at this. Price closed below, stayed below, closed above, closed below, tapped, closed above, closed back below, stayed below, closed above, tapped. That is why 3286 is important, and you want to see a 30-minute candle close. 50. This is a 30-minute time frame. All of this happened on the 30-minute time frames. You want to see a 30-minute candle close below it. There's 22 minutes for the candle to close. You want to see a 30-minute candle below it for price to head to 3267. If it doesn't close below it and we close back up, then what happened here, right? You can see what happened when price closed above it. What happened? We continued, we pushed back up. That can happen. If you don't close below 3287 or 86, if a 30-minute candle does not close below it, then we can push back up. What happened here? Price pushed back up here, or up here, or up here. Price pushed up, right? That can happen. Price can come to that area again, around 3295, roughly around 3295. Price can come back up to 3295, right? And that's exactly where 3295 is exactly where, if you go to the 15-minute, you have, this candle is going to close in 6 minutes. You have a drop, base, and a drop if this candle closes bearish. If this candle closes below 3286, then you'll have a drop, base, drop, a supply zone, right? And we can come up to 3295 again. Okay, but we've tapped 3277. That was our second TP level. First was 3287, then 3277 was 100 pips below that. And now we're waiting for another 100 pips below that is 3267. All right, another 100 pips below. 100 pip gap between all of them. And then the next one is another 100 pips. This is just, it's a coincidence. It's not like, it's not that it's set up 100 pips apart, but that's just a coincidence that it happens to be 100 pips apart. Okay, so it's a Friday. I'm not going to be here for long. I hope you took the sells. I hope you made money. I hope you know where your stop loss is. Your stop loss is at 3298, or if your stop loss is at break even, that's fine. That's up to you. But that's your stop loss. Your hard stop loss is no longer here. It's above the M15 candle high, right? This high is 3298.35. That's your stop loss, 3298.35, right there on the chart, right? So I hope you made money. I'll be here for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll end the stream. I'm not going to give out any other setups for today because that's it. It's a Friday. We had a weekly prediction. We predicted the weekly candle, how it should close. We said below 3286 or above 3286. Now still, there is another 7 hours for the candle to close, so it still can close above, right? Either of those two scenarios are still in play. They're still in play, right? But for the session, we took sells and we got some gains, right? Because for the session, the setup was for the session. There were no buys, right? We looked at price was below the EMAs, well below the EMAs. We have a liquidity candle that was created on the way down. Price tapped it twice in the London session. That's once, that's twice. 30-minute resistance was formed in pre-NY, right? Everything was in alignment, and then we took the trade, but we had 30 minutes support form. So that's the only thing that we didn't like. So I said wait for 15-minute back candle to close, and then maybe look to take sells. But that's where you would want to manage risk, right? And if you did that, then well done. You had a great Friday. I'll be back in about 2-3 minutes, and then we'll end the stream. I'm going to end the stream in about 5 minutes. If you have any questions on anything that we've discussed today, right? On why we took the trade, where we took the trade, um, why we put those levels to manage risk, why the TP levels are where they are, anything on what we've discussed, please feel free to drop a question in the chat. Okay, so 15-minute candle has closed below 3286, but that doesn't matter. We need a 30-minute candle close, right? A 30-minute candle close below 3286. If you're if you did take the trade and you're still holding, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you're still holding some positions for 3267. Okay, here's another thing that I want to highlight before probably end the stream. We spoke about this. We've been speaking about this, so I spoke about this several times this week. So, okay, I'll end with that. It's an important lesson. um, when price comes to a high time frame supply demand zone, okay, let's take demand as an example. Let's take this as an example. Rally based rally, that's a demand zone. If price comes there, and if that demand, so these are subtle things that you have to watch for, right? So that you can use this high time frame information uh, on your lower time frame setups, right, to take trades. So if you have a rally, so in this example, let's talk about demand here. We have a daily demand zone, rally based rally. If this demand zone is going to work, price when it comes here, it'll grab liquidity in the demand zone, it'll push up. It'll not stay there. Maybe it'll stay there for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours at the most, then push up because there is liquidity there. Because that's a decision area. It's a high time frame zone, it's a decision area. We hit the we're coming to 3267. Almost there. Maybe about 40 pips away. Right. Um, so if price is to move up, it'll come there, grab liquidity, push up. If it comes there and if it starts to range there, if it comes there and it starts to range, and now this applies to high time frame supply demand or high time frame support resistance. Same, right? It applies to both concepts. And when I say high time frame, I'm talking about the daily time frame, right? And it applies to the weekly also. But this is a daily demand zone, right? If it comes there and it starts to range there for hours, that means it's very likely, it's the likelihood of that demand zone working and pushing price up, it's less likely now. It's less likely that the demand zone will work and push up. It's more likely that the zone will break and price will push through, right? I hope you understand the difference. If the demand zone is to work, price will come there, grab liquidity, push up. It won't take long. It might probably do it in the Asian session or the London session, it'll push up. If price comes and ranges there, the likelihood of that demand zone working or supply zone, high time frame supply zone working is less, cut by 50% or even 60%. It's less likely for that zone to work and price to. Why? Because price is now ranging there, it's consuming the liquidity in that area, in that zone, and it's making a decision. Is it going to push down or push up? Very likely going to push down because while it spends time there, it's consuming the liquidity in that zone, right? Now, apply that same here. We have support. We have a bear candle push down and a bull candle push up. That's daily support. If price starts to range here, that means you're very likely going to push down. And where are we coming to next? Here, right? You get it? That's the concept. Apply that concept in your high time frame. When you look at the high time frame candles, apply that concept. If now today we've just come here today, right? If we start seeing a rejection here, that means this support is possibly going to work and price is going to push back up. But if 30 minutes candles start to range here, or 1 hour candles start to range here for maybe a couple of hours, 2 hours, right? Or maybe an hour, 2 hour, yeah, at least 2 hours start range here, then this is very likely going to break and price is coming all the way down here to 3244, right? And that's how you use that when you're holding a runner. That's how you hold a runner, right? So if you've taken partial position, stops at break even, and you start seeing price action, right, in an area like this start to range, then you have your TP at your final TP at 3250 or 3244, right? That's how you apply it. I hope that helped. Okay, let's be here for 3-4 minutes more, and we'll call it a day and a week. It's been a great week, phenomenal week. It's a lot of volume. This is a trader's dream, this kind of volume, where you have 993 pips already, and we still have the potential to continue further down, because the average daily range is 1,100, over 1,100 pips. 30-minute candle is closing. I said it needs to close below 3286, right? Seems like it will. If it does, then we should continue easily to 3267 and then 3257. Why have I have tried 3257? 3257 is the end of that liquidity candle. Now that price hasn't gone through the liquidity candle yet, right? It's still valid. There is liquidity there because price this week hasn't broken it. That is why I have 3257 as a TP level, right? That's the end. That's the end of the liquidity level. The round number at the end of the liquidity level. If you want to hold further, then you can hold to 3244. I've got a final TP placed at 3250. If we get there, that's a 500 plus pip move. That's amazing. We're coming to 3267 now. If we hope we'll hit it, then I'll end the stream after that. Yeah, we're just a few pips away. 25 pips away. We're just almost there. Now, once the 4-hour candle is going to close in 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Once the 4-hour candle closes, there should be a pullback. Let's look at this very objectively. Yeah, there should be a pullback because we have 4-hour support here. So once, if we close below this candle here, or this candle, we should have a pullback, back up, maybe another, price can pull up easy 100 pips, 150 pips before continuing down. We're almost at 3267. Four minutes more for the candle to close. I'll wait for the candle to close and then I'll end the stream. Yeah. Like I said yesterday, I don't trail my stops. I don't do that. I stopped doing that many years ago. I take partial. This is how I trade always. And there is to each his own. Like each trader has a different way of taking partial profits, or taking closing their trades. They scale in, they scale out. That's all fine. That's whatever works for you. But this is how I trade. I have partial areas where I take TPs, and once it starts to hit, if it hits the first one, or if it crosses the first one, then I bring my stops to break even immediately, and I hold it to the next areas. If it runs to them, great. If it doesn't run to them and starts to reverse immediately, soon as I see, like, let's say a 15-minute support from a liquidity candle, and a tradable 15-minute bull candle close in this case, or a 30-minute support form and a tradable 30-minute bull candle close, then I close the trades immediately. It's no point holding it, because then it's very likely the price is going, that liquidity area is going to work. So that's why this is important. Once price comes to these liquidity levels, any liquidity level, it can be a liquidity candle, a BRN, a psychological round number, a weekly SR level, the EMAs. Well, if it comes to any of those and you start seeing structure, candle structure, right? You start seeing a 30-minute support form, 15-minute support form, tradable 15-minute bull candle close against you, or tradable 30-minute bull candle close against you. That's when you quickly start to close even more positions. You can close everything, or you can close maybe another 25%, 30%, or 40%, and keep a trade in case it continues to run more, right? Or you can close everything. We're almost at 3267. This 30-minute candle might close with no bottom wick. There is no top wick. Could close with no bottom wick also. There is another 30 minutes for the 4-hour candle to close. So we don't know if price is going to close below this zone, these two candles, below this 4-hour candle, or below this 4-hour candle, or we're going to close above them, because there's 30 minutes. The candle can pull back, because if a 30-minute candle closes with no bottom wick, then the next candle can pull back up. If it leaves a wick at the bottom, then the next candle has a range to trade into. That's all that wicks mean, right? When price is in momentum, that's what wicks mean, right? If, like, see here, price closed with a wick, and we are in bearish momentum, in a very strong bearish moment. Look where the candle closed, and look how far it's from the EMS, 266 pips away from the EMS, right? So that's a strong bearish momentum compared to yesterday, where we ranged, right? The price was at the EMAs, right? So it was above, then back below, then back above. We ranged. But here we are far away from the EMAs. So when there is a lot of momentum, and that's how you understand, or that's how you look for momentum. See, a candle closed with a big wick, right? A fairly, not too much, but a decent wick, and it's getting filled, right? It's getting filled. So there's a range for the next candle to trade into. There's a wick for price to push down. Now, if you break the low, we should come to 3267. What's this low? 68.48, low 68.60. Yeah, there we go. We broke the low. Should come to 3267 now. There we go. Yeah, 3267 tapped. That's your third TP area, and then the next is 3257. Seems like we're coming down further. Why? And I said why 3257 is the end of the Is it? Yeah, it is the end of the liquidity candle. Let's just look at that again. Yeah, that's the end of the liquidity candle. That's fine. All right, that'll be the end of the stream. I've got my stops at break even. Uh, if, again, like I said, if a 15-minute bull candle closes and if 15-minute support forms and a tradable 15-minute bull candle close, then I might close uh, half of my position and let the other one run. I might not keep everything there. Okay, but if a 30-minute support forms and a 30-minute tradable bull candle close, then I'll close everything, because that means the liquidity candle is working again, right? These are liquidity areas. All right, that'll be the end of the stream. um, be back on Monday. Next week is going to be an interesting week. It's NFP week, right? We got NFP week, then the week after we've got interest rates and FOMC, and the week after that we've got CPI, PPI, and retail sales. So hopefully, by the grace of God, it's going to be an amazing uh, first 3 weeks of May. All right, so take care. Don't overtrade, don't over risk, stay safe, and have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday, 7:30 a.m. EST.